Today's video is all about head voice, and you may have heard about these things, head voice, chest voice, and wondered about them. But today's video, I'm going to explain a little bit about how head voice works, and I'm going to give you a bunch of exercises that are going to help you to find your head register very clearly. Great warm-ups that you can do every single day. So if this is what you're looking for, stick around. So the first thing to understand is the terminology head voice and chest voice is a little bit dated. We actually now, most of us in the biz call it registers. And we actually have three distinct registers as human people. One of them is fry. Vocal fry is a register. The way that some of the young people talk, oh my God. That's vocal fry. So that's a register, obviously, when we don't use a ton. And then we have our head register, which is the one we're talking about today. Ooh, it's just more of the higher notes, the higher sounds. And then we have our chest register. Hello, which is the lower pitches. And our chest register, when we bring it up high, is called belting. So what exactly is a register? I know it's called head voice. Some people call it that, but that implies that it's a different voice. And you only have one voice. You have your speaking voice. That's the same as your singing voice, right? And so calling it voice is a little bit confusing. What head voice is, and also another thing that people say is like, oh, it resonates in your head or whatever, which is a confusing way to think about it. The sound doesn't necessarily come from your head. It comes from your vocal folds. They used to be called cords. We call them folds now, that are housed in behind your larynx. And that's what makes your voice what it is. So when we're in head register, our vocal folds are stretched long and thin, and just the edges of them are vibrating. And that's why versus chest register, it's a lighter, headier sound. So if you're looking for your head register, you could think about Elmo, ha ha ha, Elmo, or a little kid, or Mickey Mouse, or no, those are all the head register sounds. Chest register, on the other hand, is when the vocal folds are short and fat, and they're vibrating. You see more of the body of them vibrates in chest register. And that's the sound of like Darth Vader, or it was a dark and stormy night, or feelings, any of those kinds of sounds. So it's another thing to understand is that men and women have identical vocal anatomy. And so while women can sing in head register, men can as well. And if you've ever heard Prince sing, you don't have to be rich to be my girl, right? The song Kiss, or any of the many other songs that he sang in his head register, that's exactly the same. His voice is functioning exactly the same way as mine is. And if you were to see our vocal anatomy under a microscope, most people wouldn't, even doctors wouldn't necessarily be able to say this is male and this is female, which is kind of cool. So in order for us to get into finding our head register, there's a couple of vowel sounds that help us. The biggest one that helps us is ooh. The other one is E. It's easier to find your head register if you're using those vowels. Later on, you can use all the other vowels, but these are the two easiest ones to start with. We also want to start higher up in our register. So middle C is right here, as you can see. And then I'm starting on the F above middle C. So what I want to do is just make some singing sounds around that pitch range. Ooh, ooh. And so I can think of a little tiny owl. Hoo, hoo, and that's my head register. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of very simple exercises to start. If you are a male identifying singer, then you can actually do these exercises a little bit lower than me. I would start most, sort of baritone singers around middle C. But if you're a tenor, this would be a good range for you to start as well. We're going to go very light, very soft, and you're just going to do a whole step. Ooh. I'm just making that very pure sound. Then I'm going to do it up here. Ooh. Yeah, see how light that is? Now I'm going to start on a G. Ooh. Now here. Ooh. And if this is feeling tight, don't get any higher. Ooh. And I'm just keeping that hollow sound. I'm going to go back down again. Ooh. Before I sing, I'm going to take a nice deep singer's breath. Ooh. Now I'm going to try down a half step. Ooh. One more. Ooh. Exactly. So we're going to try another exercise. Again, we're keeping this very narrow for now. And if you feel comfortable singing these exercises, you're welcome to stretch your sound up higher. But for now, we're going to be very conservative. So we're going to just make a little sound like a little kid. And you're going to go, mum, 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 mum. And you hear how soft it is, like I'm a little tiny kid. Mum, 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 mum. And you know it's head register because you can't really get much louder on this sound. Mum, 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 mum. 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 Excellent. So now I'm going to show you something that we are going to do using a drinking straw. So the next exercise we're going to do is just going to use a standard drinking straw. This is just one that I got from, just a box of 100 drinking straws. And what these are called is semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. This is a really, really great way to get your head register moving. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a major third. You're going to go like this. And I'm singing directly through the straw, almost like it's a kazoo. And this is a good way to get your vocal folds vibrating in a nice, easy way. Start up another half step. Step. One more half step up. And we're going to go down by half steps now. You may feel like, ooh, it's a little wobbly, but that's okay. Down a half step. Back down to the F where we started. Excellent. So you might try just going, woo. So I'm doing a very, very gentle stretch. Woo. You'll notice as I go up, I'm opening my mouth a little bit more. Woo. Woo. Just as a way to gently stretch. I'm not screaming. It's not loud. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it, but it's just woo, like a very relaxing kind of sound. Woo. So now we're going to do a 5-note scale, and we're going to start on this F again, and we're going to go ooh. So I'm going up 5 notes of the major scale on an ooh, and I'm coming down on an E. But be careful that the E is an E. It's ooh. Notice that I call this the kiss your grandma face, because you look like you're going to give someone a smooch. You're going to go, ooh, and it might sound like a bit of a classical sound. That's okay. Ooh, good. Up another half step. Ooh. And don't go any higher than you feel comfortable. We're just going very gently. Ooh. Let's try one more. Ooh. Now we're going to go back down. Ooh. Taking a nice deep singer's breath. Ooh. One more. So you may feel a little lightheaded while you're doing this if you're not used to singing in your head register, because there's a lot more air coming in and out. Because remember, when your vocal folds are just on the edges, it means they're open for longer than they are closed. And so that can mean that you've got more air coming in and out. So we're now going to do a sound like a little kid. And we're going to be doing the arpeggio of a chord. So you're going to go, mum, 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 mum. And notice it's like a very gentle, light sound. So you can pretend that you're reading a storybook to a little kid. Mum, 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 mum. Then we're going to go up a half step and do it again, nice and light. Mum, 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 mum. And it might be just a little cry on the top. That's okay. Mum, 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 mum. Up another half step. Mum, 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 mum. You might even think, wow, this doesn't hardly even sound like singing. That's okay. Mum, 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 mum. Down a half step again. Mum, 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 mum. Mum, 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 mum. Mum, 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 mum. We're going to keep going down lower. Mum, 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 mum. And you may notice the bottom note isn't in head register anymore, but that's okay. We want to find head register as we get up higher. Mum, 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 mum. One more. Mum, 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 mum. So we're going to go down back onto the bottom, and we're going down in a lower range. And again, this is really outside of the purview of where you would do head register. Head register would generally sort of be here and above, up to very, very high. But what we're trying to do now is to get the bottom part of your singing sound to connect to the head register sound. So you're going to go, oh, and make that sound, oh, like you're a British lady and you're, ooh, surprised by something. So you're going to go, oh, and I can feel some movement in my throat as things are moving around as I'm getting higher. So let me do that again. Oh, good. Notice I'm opening my mouth as I get up higher. We're going to switch to ooh now. Ooh. Let's do one more. Excellent. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go on that same exercise we just did, but we're going to stop at the top and work our way down. So you're going to go, ooh, 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 just like that. And we're going to come down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Down, I'm allowing the sound to stay this head register sound. Ooh, 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 ooh. Excellent. So we're going to do one more exercise, and then I'm going to give you some homework to try. So we're going to bounce. You're going to go, ooh, 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 hee, 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 hee. And notice I've got the ooh and the hee. It's easier to do that than to have ooh, ee. Okay. We're going to go up by half steps and do this with the bounce. And you're going to have a feeling of bouncing in your belly. And don't worry if it's a little sticky on the top. Notice that I'm opening my mouth as we get to the higher notes. try one more. Now, these exercises you may find today are challenging for you to do. You don't want to press, you don't want to squeeze or push or jam it. You just want to go easily. You can always go back to the exercise with the straw if you need to. And bear in mind, over time, it will become easier and easier for you to sing these exercises. If at first you need to, you can keep the exercises very narrow. So the exercises that were just up a whole step or up a third, rather than the ones that went up the whole octave, you can start with that. You can make the sound very, very light, very soft. You can experiment as ooh or ee or oh, which one is easier for you to try. And then once you're able to work through these exercises, then what you can do is take a song that you know, something simple like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and practice singing it in different keys in your head register. So if I wanted to do the same, I could go, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Let me try it here. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. You could also make yourself a playlist of people singing in head registers. So Kiss by Prince would be another one. There's a whole ton of them that you could experiment with. And if you have some ideas for some head register dominant songs, you can definitely leave them in the comment below. I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, make sure you leave me a big thumbs up. I usually do piano content here, but I've had a lot of requests for voice content, and I am a top vocal coach. I work with singers all over the world via Zoom, in person in my studio, and it's a lot of fun to help people to not only get inside their voice, to figure out how it works, but also to be able to expand what you're able to do so that you feel like a better singer. If you want to know more about my work or how you can work with me, you should definitely check out my website, pianoandvoicewithbrenda.com. There you'll find out how to get in touch with me if you're now inspired to take a private lesson one-on-one. We can work something out. Or if you want to check out my all-inclusive online membership called The Versatile Musician, over 1,100 unique tutorials organized in something like 25 plus courses, lots of stuff on piano, ear training, and some singing stuff too. So if you're interested in that, definitely use coupon code GETSTARTED30 for $30 off your first month by going to theversatilemusician.com. If you have any questions, leave them below and stay tuned. I will be posting a similar video on chest register next week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.